Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane Toys, My Hero Academia, All for One. So I stumbled across this guy at Target, and at first I passed up on him, and then I went back and looked at him and said, a suited action figure with some crazy unique features to him, that is right up my alley. This guy looks really cool for All for One, but I think he could also double up and be a very crazy, unique mobster in my Batman world. So a lot of different uses here. Let's go ahead and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, McFarlane Toys, got the Spawn logo there. My Hero Academia, ages 12 plus, All for One. Here he is, and here he is in the package. Doesn't look like he comes with any accessories. This guy has a scarred up face. You can't see any of his facial features. He's got breathing tubes, and he's got this giant arm. This figure is crazy heavy. You get a ton of plastic here. One side, he's sort of just standing there. Other side, My Hero Academia. At the bottom, there's a bunch of credits, and there's a barcode in case that helps anybody. And then in the back, here's the figure. So with no further ado, let's open him up. All right, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He doesn't come with any traditional accessories, just a McFarlane display stand. So All for One here, he looks so crazy, bizarre, and deformed. Many years ago, he had a fight with All Might. All Might left him mortally injured. His face is completely made of scar tissue, extending from above his upper lip and covering his entire head to the back of his neck. As such, he has no visible nose, ears, hair, or eyes, although you can see where his eyes once were. As a result of no eyes, he cannot see properly. He sees by using an infrared vision quirk, and he also detects the vibrations in the area around him. So let's go ahead and look at the figure. So All for One here is a really strange looking villain. I mean, look at his face there. You can barely tell any of the features. Sure, you can see where his eyes once were, but all that scar tissue. No wonder this guy's a villain. He's so unhappy. He's got this breathing apparatus on the front with all these tubes coming out. He's got almost antenna-like things at the top. Now this is not his hair. Almost looks like part of a helmet covering the back of his head. Going further down, this guy's in a black suit. Typically always appears in the same kind of an outfit. It's a pretty cool suited body for McFarlane. I can see them getting some use out of it for some other figures. Looks like double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. But you know what? Let's talk about and look at his arm. One of the most unique and specific characteristics of this guy. This thing is giant. Makes me think of a big old tumor on his arm. He absorbed a bunch of other quirks and got stronger and got this big ol' arm. It's got a lot of detail on it. All these little spikes and things growing out of it. All these, I don't know, veiny looking things. And if you look at it, it's got all these arms around the outside of it. Just looks so crazy and so weird. Does have some articulation, able to go forward and back. And they've even built in a ball joint here that actually has no function. You can't really use it. Overall, part of what appealed to me about this guy is just how weird, crazy, and deformed he looks. Now let's look at his accessory. He comes with this lone display stand. It's a typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle. It says My Hero Academia at the bottom. It's got one peg for the peg holes on his feet. It's very thin, very basic. I will forewarn you, this guy is very top heavy due to his giant arm. A lot of weight and a lot of plastic there. I find him falling to the right very easily if you don't position him properly. Now let's check out this guy's height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's sitting at about 7.3 or 7.4 inches tall, which is going to translate to about 18.5 centimeters. Now let's look at his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side, but not too much. A little bit obstructed. Can look up and down just the tiniest bit as well. Can't really tilt or do anything else. Very limited mobility there. His shoulder is a regular one. It's on a ball joint. You can go out about 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. Bicep cut, double jointed elbows. They go in all the way. His wrist here, it can rotate and it's going to be hinged as well. Then his giant arm, you can see it's got a cut right here. It's going to be able to go forward. He can punch people. It looks just ridiculous. And it does have a ball joint here. You can actually remove the arm fairly easily. You can see it's got the peg in there with the ball. Should be able to go up and down, but in all reality, you actually can't get really anything out of this. Not sure why they bothered spending the extra money to add that articulation piece. Just pop that thing back in. Going further down, seems like his torso is one solid piece. He's got traditional waist articulation here. His legs, they go out about this far. Not a ball joint. Similar type concept though. As far as rotation goes, just the tiniest bit here. Go forward about that far, back about that far. Double jointed knees below that. They go back that far. And then his ankle here, it can go up and down, really not too much. It can rotate a little bit. Can't really tilt rock much. And there is some toe articulation. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other anime figures. Here he is, next to a McFarlane, Tokyo Ghoul, Shu, Sukiyama. Then, next to a couple of McFarlane Akira clown figures. I got two of these guys because it makes some great Joker henchmen. And here, with a couple of Bandai Dragon Ball Z figures. Then, next to some Bandai Saint Seiya figures. He kind of reminds me of this Mezco Joey the Ball figure. I don't know what it is, there's something they have in common. And here's another figure with a giant exaggerated hand. This is the DST, or Diamond Select Toys, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back Cockknocker. Here are a couple of Bane figures for The Dark Knight Rises next to All for One. In the film, Bane was horribly beaten and disfigured and had to wear a breathing apparatus afterwards, very similar to All for One. And now let's check him out next to some action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Here he is with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And here he is next to some DST, or Diamond Select Toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, with some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, next to some Mafex figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a weird, crazy, bizarre, and almost grotesque action figure. And that's what appealed to me about this guy. I'm a sucker for suited figures. I love them. And this is a suited figure with a gimmick. His giant, tumor-esque quirk arm. This thing is just ridiculous looking. A lot of people prefer the hero figures to the villain figures, but I'm all about the villains, especially the weird ones like this guy. I think I'm going to be able to fit him into a ton of different action figure scenarios, whether it be for all-in-one, or possibly a weird gimmick thug or mobster for my Batman to fight. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure videos from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.